Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we have designed our contact page, right? Now I want to handle all that our data. That means if you pass any first name, last name, the mobile number, and then email address, message, if you checked it, and after that if you click as a submit, I want to get all the data. So before getting this data, we have to do like there is our contact page. Into this contact page area, that is one of the component, right? In this area, I want to load one of the state. So if you want to load that state, that will be as a constructor. Okay, that is our constructor. I simply loaded our constructor method, and into this constructor area, I want to pass that super. So that will be the super. I simply loaded that super class. Okay, I simply loaded it, and now I want to declare some of the property in our this state. Okay, into this states, I want to load some of the property, like that is one of the field. Okay, field as a first name, last name, mobile, email, message, and also there is another checkbox. So I want to name it as a first name. Okay, I name it as a first name. For the first time I want to make it as a empty. Okay, I make it as a empty. Sorry, that will be the comma, and I want to take another one as a last name property. Also I want to make it as a empty. Great. And I'll take that mobile property, I make it as a empty, and then the email property, I make it as a empty. Okay, I make it as a empty, and for the checkbox I name it as a agree. Okay, agree, and then I want to also make it as a, for the first time, that will be as a false. Okay, false value. I simply take that as a false value, and then another one as a message. So I name it as a message property, and also I make it as a empty. Okay friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. And now we have to get everything from our form, right? And also whatever the value will be typed in here, I want to get this value. For the reasons we need two of this method. One will be into the form submit method, another will be our total value. So for the reasons I want to take two of this method. Okay, one method I name it as a handle. Okay, handle input change. Okay, handle input change, and here also I have to pass that event, and then that will be the array function. I simply loaded this array function. Okay, so I simply loaded this part, and also I have to create another form submit. So that will be the handle. I name it as a handle submit. Two of this method. Okay, here also I pass that event because we have to get all that our values. So I pass that event, and then that is our method. So there is a handle submit method. This handle submit method I want to take that things in our form. That is actually our form is started, right? So to this form area I want to load it. That will be the on submit, and into this on submit here I want to load our this method as a this, and then our handle submit method. Okay, I simply loaded this handle submit method in here. Great. And also we have to get all that our value one by one. We have to add it. So that is our type as a text type. That is a placeholder. Here I want to add one of the field name. I pass that name, and name will be as a first name. I name it as a first name. Great. And also there is a placeholder, which is totally fine. And then I want to get this value. So if you want to get this value, that will be the value, right? So that value will be our state value. So into this state area I want to pass it. That means this, and then state, these states, and into this states area I name it as a first name, right? So that will be as a first name. Great. I simply loaded this first name. And also here I want to change our on change event, because I have already created one of the method. I just name it as on change. Okay, I name it as on change our event, and into this on change event here I want to load our method that I have already created as a this, and that will be the handle input change. Okay, I simply copy it, and then I simply paste it. Great. Now we have to also do the same things for rest of this. Better first time I want to add that as a name. Our name will be, I name it as a last name. Okay, last name, and then the value will be needed. Better I copy it, and then after this I paste it. Okay, so that will be the value. the name, and then value will be, I name that our state name, I name it as a last name, mobile, email, and then message agree, right? So that will be the agree is the REE, agree. Okay, so I make it as a agree as a false. Okay, so now that will be as a last name. I want to update it, that will be as a last name. Great. So on change, our method will be the same. Here we don't need to change anything, and then that will be the mobile. So I make another field name, I name it as a mobile. Okay, mobile, and then the value, that will be same, I copy it, and then here I want to paste it, and also I want to paste it in here. Great. So that will be the mobile. I have already named that state property name as a mobile, right? That is a mobile, and then email, right? So I want to first of all load this mobile, and then that will be as a email, and also I have to put that name, input field name, I name it as email. Okay, I simply loaded that email, and then the message, right? So into this message area also we have to get this value. I simply copy it, and then that is our text area. I want to paste it in particular that position, the value, our field name, and put that name will be as a message, and message, our field name, our field value, input value I want to take it with the property, and in our state I have already created one of the property as a message. So now that will be great. Okay, and then that is one of the checkbox. So in the checkbox I want to put that name. For this checkbox name, I name it as a agree. Okay, agree, and also the same things, I want to get this value, I copy it, and after that I paste it. So that will be as a value will be as a agree, and then that will be our onChange method as a handle input changes. Great. And then our button will be type as a submit type. Okay, and that is our form. Perfect. So now we have to get all the data, right? So in our on handle submit, into this handle submit area, I want to do that will be that means that will be add all the data without loading that page. For the reasons I want to use it as an event. Okay, event, and the event will be as a prevent default. So I simply loaded that prevent default method. With this method, that will be loaded without loading that page, that form will be submitted. So here I simply loaded our handle input, which is totally fine. And now in our handle input changes, here we have to do we have to get all that our value, right? And also they have one of the checkbox, because some of the time you may not select this checkbox, right? Here we have to add one of the function. So I want to add down the condition in here. Okay, so here if you do add that condition, I think you already know that I take one of the constant variable. There is a constant. Okay, I take one of the constant variable, I just name it as a value. So I simply load that value. Okay, here we want to add one of the condition. Condition will be very easy when our type, that means event and then the target. Okay, event target when the type, so into the event target type when it will be the equal. Okay, equal our field name, our field, that is one of the checkbox, right? So that is a type as a checkbox. You can see when our type will be as a checkbox, then I want to make it as a checked, rather than that will be get this value. Simple work. So I simply copy it. So here when our type will be with this event target, when our type will be as a checkbox, then okay, then I want to make it our event. So with this event target, okay, with this event target, that will be as a checked. So I make it as a checked. If you go here, that is you can see that is a checkbox, and that is one of the value as a agree. Here better I want to make it as a checked. Okay, checked, then that will be better. So I make it as a checked, and into the checked area I want to pass these states and as a agree. Okay, so that is our state property. I simply pass it, then that will be as a checked. Okay, so I want to take this checked. So here just simply take this checked. Okay, that is the event targeted and then checked, and else it will be get this simply value. Okay, so here I want to get that event and then target. So that will be event target. I want to get that all value. right? So I simply get all that our value, like as a I name it as a value. That means this input field value, this input field value. Okay, it shall be get all that value. Simple condition. When that will be as a checked, then that will be selected as a checked, rather than that will be get all that our value. Okay, I have already passed all that value, so now I simply take this value in here. Now I want to submit it. Okay, I want to submit it with the name. I take on the constant variable. I simply loaded on the constant, so that is a constant variable. I just name it as a name. Into this name area I want to pass that our event, so that is our event, and into this event area I want to pass that our targeted name. Okay, I simply pass this targeted name, and targeted name I want to submit all that our value. Right here we have to pass it, so that will be as a this, and then the set states method, and into the set states method area here I have already declared another property name as a name. So into this name area I want to pass all that our value. Okay, that will be on the object value. I simply pass that name will be our value, so I simply pass this value. Okay, I simply pass this value. Great. So now if you want to check it every data is successfully handle it or not, if you want to check it better in our on submit, here I want to check it with the console log. So that will be the console. Okay, and there is a console, and with the console log I want to display our this state, what data actually we get. I want to pass it, so that is our state, all that value now it should be get. Okay, so here in our on submit I want to pass our this state, so that means in our states area all the data submitted I want to get it. Okay, so now let's check this out. If everything okay, that should be get all the data in our console. Click the save all, and now if you go click the refresh, and now I want to open with the inspect, and with this inspect if you go to that console, and with this console area right now I want to fill up this, or better I want to make it into the left position. Okay, I want to make it into the left position, which is great. So now I want to pass on the name as a Kazi, last name as a Aryan. Okay, I name it as Aryan, and the mobile number I put some of the mobile number, put that aryan@gmail.com. and then hi, this is message. Okay, new message, and also I make that as a may we contact you, I make it as a yes. Okay, so for the by default that will be as a false. When you select it, then that will be as a change as a true. Okay, now let's check this out. If you now click as a submit, you can see it's now successfully get all that our array data. You can see agree, I agree it. For the reasons our value is now become changed as a checked, or that will be as a true. I pass that email, which is totally fine. It's perfectly get that our Kazi, that means the first name, last name, messages, phone number, right? That means all that our state value. Here I have loaded our console and this state value. So here that is all that state property value, right? So now you can see it's now perfectly get all that our state value. Okay, it's now perfectly get all that state value, and if you unselect it, and if you click as a submit it again, and now that should be as a false. You can see our agree is now become false. Okay friend, I hope it's very much clear to you. Here we successfully get handle all that our data, that means our all that input field data, we successfully get it, we save it into the console. So right now we can actually display these messages, we can store these messages in our local storage. We do a lot of work with this. Right now I don't have any database, so if you want to create some of the database with this API, you can also save all the data in your database. So right now it's perfect. We successfully able to make it as a selected, unselected, and also all the input data. We are able to get this data in here, right? Perfect. How can do that work, friend? I hope it's very much clear to you. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.